Sim. Oh. Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Is the PDF?
You're showing me blank page slides. That's not helpful. That's fine. Thanks. No, it's me.
Yeah, what
Is
is
it
it?
showing now?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what is text? Yeah.
It's getting locked.
Ah,
Oh no,
it's
open it in just
I hate
click it now.
Google.
Wait. No, here.
Yeah, it's awesome. My boyfriend left.
I think you have to
because
click
I
on
got
your green.
3 months ago. And
It's not green anymore, but
he was
this
like,
thing.
he loved it. And he's a music teacher. So
And then what happens? Put it back.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Laurian. I usually work on Hyper Audio projects, and I work on Trint also. That I'm going to tell you a story about. It's not about accent. I wanted to do that, but in the end, I changed my mind. It's about communication with a potential client or an actual client that want to use your technology, and they say they have everything. We have transcripts. We have everything you want, and then you discover that no, the truth is not the same because they don't understand technology and what do you need. So we had this project in 2014 with Al Jazeera called Palestine Remix. And the idea was that we have 17 documentaries on Palestine in 4 languages, and there are just 17 videos with 4 different subtitles in 4 languages. And in the end, it was like there are 20, and actually each language was different edited, so the videos are not the same. And everything exploded, and we had to wrap it up in 3 months, and it was quite fun. So we had to produce a site, in English, in Arabic, which I can't even copy paste because it goes in reverse, in Bosnian, and in Turkish. And what the result was supposed to be was Hyper Audio customized for Al Jazeera, where you actually can, remix from all these documentaries and share and tell your story. The way you can take sentences from different documentaries and put titles and share this thing. And one of the most amazing decisions that Al Jazeera made was that we will allow people to tell the wrong story if they put things, in different order. Just because, that's good enough. People are still not learning about Palestine. And so this was the intended result to be Hyper Audio implemented in 4 languages, and you could share this, and you could then also download the videos. So the actual video downloading part, which is a FFmpeg stitching and remixing, it's open source. Or the rest of the site, but it's a disastrous code. But the challenge it was to actually to get to this point in 4 languages, and we're promised. I'll get this back. We're promised that we'll have transcripts for everything. And I want a transcript, and they give me a Word document like this. Tables in Word documents with time codes, more or less going like plus minus 1 minute there, because this was like what I used to edit the documentaries, and of course they lost all the other files. And the initial assumption was we'll have a single video file with all the other languages just being subtitles, and we'll just, for each paragraph, we'll have the same paragraph in all the languages. So I built a tool for them, which was something like this. I have a vertical timeline using showing the waveform using the BBC waveform project, and then showing the diarization, all these kind of speaker changes, and then I have like each paragraph with tabs for each language. You can drag and drop vertically on the timeline and align what is supposed to be versus the time code in the document. Shortly we learned that actually the things were edited differently, and trying to match scene by scene to other in the video was just impossible. So we had to actually do each language independently. And basically this is what we had. The audio was Hebrew, Arabic, and English, with English voiceover as narration, with subtitles burned in for which they lost the files. The Arabic was the Arabic voiceover most of the time with very, very few Arabic subtitles, and that was we were easy to actually align as audio, and we did that with the help of Qatar Research Institute, which I did. They were using Kaldi, and they have a very good Arabic model. and that was easy in the end to align and ship. The Bosnian and Turkish, it was the easiest to once because they were actually based on the original English version with subtitles, and they have subtitles. So we just kind of like interpolated the words in subtitle and generated the timings more or less. And I was going to mention something about the search, and also you have to do a search of all this in all the 4 languages. And the fun thing was that we had to index at paragraph level and be able to search and generate thumbnails for each second of each video because the IT department was not allowing any kind of server-side technology, so we had to do everything static. And we generate indexes and thumbnails for 20-something videos in multiplied by 4 for each second, so we had like 8 gigabytes of thumbnails. But space is cheap nowadays. But we have thumbnails for the actual location in the search hit. And no, again, one of the fun stuff with working with languages, like, well, we have to search in Bosnian. Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to parse it as Croatian because I have open source libraries only for that, and it's good enough, they're related. No, they don't like to say no, they're related because they don't like each other very much, but that's how how life happens, right? It's the same in the end for me at STEM level. So the biggest problem was how do you ship English when we have only Word documents and no English sound, and only captions built in the videos. So we have something like this, a column like that, and we have to get to the video. So the subtitles they used and they are built, they're semi-transparent, which are very beautiful, but are impossible to process properly. So in the end, we took this and played it in a browser, duplicate the area of the video in a canvas, increase the contrast with JavaScript on the canvas, just processing the pixel level, match each frame by frame, looking for change in the subtitle, let's say difference in the previous frame and second frame, and try to detect where the subtitles changed, and send this to Tesseract server side to get some English back with very, very bad spelling because of the semi-transparency, and usually the interviewee hands moving behind that would just interfere with recognition. So we got a very, very bad English with timings. And now we had to find a way to transfer those timings to the actual subtitles from the Word document. And luckily, one night, I managed to write something terrifying like this, which what I was trying to do in the end. I'm going to work this step. There is a library which is called Bleoline, which is used in aligning sentences for translation, for machine translation. And I decided to use that in aligning English to English instead of aligning English to French, or how people use that library. So I have broken English, the OCR version with timings, and proper English from the Word document. And if I manage to align each line, I can then transfer the timings. So I took the transcript from the Word document and made it like one line, then use Python NLTK to break in sentences one per line, and added some para and break words just to try to remember the punctuation, the paragraphing of the original document. I did the same with the OCR text, which was very broken. I align it and I get something like this. So this would be like what I get from the Word document in the end, right? To have like the text which is clear, but I have the para knowing that I have to have like 2 enters and stuff like that. And this has each one sentence per line using NLTK. This is what I get from OCR, and I added these at numbers just as kind of pseudo words to remember where in the array is that coming from. And it's 1 per line by NLTK. When you pass it to Bleoline, you get 2 files, and they are aligned by the line numbers. So, and now I see like, oh, actually, my mother's place that night it's number 5, and by this I was able to link each sentence from the Word document to the broken English in OCR, and we managed to actually having the original timing from playing the video in the browser and doing that OCR at 4 speed time when running that. We managed to get finally the transcript, and that was actually what saved the project because we had a hard deadline. And yeah, and sometimes you have to align things by what people forgot to save in their archives. So they had only the videos with semi-transparent subtitles, And it was possible with a lot of tweaking and a lot of no, hash distance. I use 11 strand distance to, because when you try to detect subtitle changes, you'll get a lot of similar ones, and you have to find to group the similar ones and then choose from the similar ones which is the best one. So I choose the best one by having the less garbage, and there is a library that kind of like give you an indication how much garbage is in your OCR recognition. So yeah, it was fun. So basically we managed to integrate what I HyperAudio project in a for a client in the conditions that we never spoke the same language as requirements. We want transcripts. They gave us some video files and some Word documents, and that's just a story from the implementing something for real with the client. It was fun. Question? Yeah.
So in digging into some of those translation tools and other alignment tools, were there any other things that you came across that also might be useful for some of this other media alignment work that's been going on?
So you have in translation, you have alignment at sentence level, and one of the classic is HANAlign, which will align, you have like, let's say English text and the translation of that English text in French, for example. And you want to know which sentence is which. And sometimes in translation, two sentences can be merged into one. So you have alignment to null or two things aligned to the same thing. And HANAlign will just work by trying to match the languages because they have some common roots. BlowAlign can have an intermediary list of things, sentences, such that you can align words, languages that have no common roots. And usually with BlowAlign I have like French and let's say English, and I want to align that, and I use the intermediate one as being French translated to English via Google Translate, which is very, very bad, but gives you enough stuff. So in the end I had to translate in the same language, but so those tools were not made for this, but they worked. So it just doesn't matching, and I just came up with that solution, like sometimes in the middle of the night, and it worked, and it was just amazing because it was like we had like 2 weeks to finish the English version, and it was insane. The only solution was to actually recode the tool for manual alignment and have volunteers to put the timing on those texts, and it was not a way to do it. Yeah, there are a lot of tools in translation that can be applied in alignment, even they were made for different languages.
Awesome.
This is sort of an obscure question, but you said that they didn't have or didn't allow server-side.
Their IT department is in a .NET shop that they cannot do any move without training, like any corporate client, and it was not allowed to have any server-side includes.
Wow.
So we had to do everything, pre-compute everything. Even the search is happening in the browser. I use Lunar.js, which is JavaScript-based search, and we use Node to generate the indexes and load that as JSON, and
Wow.
yeah, and pre-compute all the images for every possible paragraph as search result hit. Space is cheap. It worked. Build time takes a while, but yeah.
Yeah.